So fire at will. All righty.
Okay, now it might be because this is such a tiny site. This is the actual drawing. This is the actual job, and there are two 50-foot by 150-foot lots,
Okay.
7,500 square feet each. This is the location inset that I made. And if I do it at 2,000 feet, they're so tiny you can't see them.
Sure.
So I ended up doing it at 300 scale, and they're still pretty tiny.
Yeah, it's still kind of lost on there. In fact, what you might need to do is let me request the remote here. You got there's your label for that or site. Now, what you might wind up doing is, let's go over here and take a look at. All right, so there is how that's set up. Now this image you got from
Yeah, we can delete it and bring it in again.
All right. Well, what I'm thinking is we might, because even at this scale, at the 300 scale, where you can make out the two lots, but you don't really have any context. You don't have what the location map is for, is to show you where it is in the world. So
Right.
even if we blow it up and it's just a speck and we just put a circle around it or put a star there or something that says, hey, that's where it is,
Okay.
that serves that purpose. So that's what we should probably do. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. And let's zoom this. What is this? This is.
Well, that's the frame. The way you showed me how to do it was to make a frame around it, and that's what that is.
Exactly. Okay. So let's make this frame. Let's see. So 3 takes it to 1,000. So 3 points. So if we scaled that up, let's just scale that by.
And that's just a rectangle.
Right. Right. Yeah. And so, but if we see where where's the scale button? Oh, there it is. Sorry. If we look at the center of that and we do it by reference, it is 300. If we make it 1,000. All right, so that will give us 1,000 scale. And then if we bring in what did you bring this in as? Just from this or
I went down to ArcGIS services.
Okay.
And then NGS topo.
All right, is that the one you want?
Yeah.
Okay. And then it's going to ask us for these bounding box. We'll just make it a little bit bigger. And we'll call it this. Now, I have found out that in doing this before, that sometimes if you try to reuse those same job or file names,
yeah,
there's something about the way it comes into Carlson. I don't know if it creates a block of the same name, but it doesn't actually bring in the replacement. It keeps the old one. So I always just replace this with a new name.
Okay,
So that'll generally do that. Assuming it ever gets there.
oh, it just takes a while.
Yeah. It's going to be about 9 to 10 times longer because it's that much larger. There we go. All right. So now we go back. Let's see. Will that give us enough? So we know what this road is here. We know, what these various road names are. You can label those over here in paper space over top of it. And we'll take that viewport. Is there 1,000? Oh, don't have it. Let's see. Let's see. It's 1,000 feet. Is, let's see.
Be 0.001, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But is it going to? See, it's not gonna set our annotation scale, but that's okay. We're not really using any annotation from it. Because you're gonna label it here in paper space.
Right.
All right, so then, and then what I would think about doing maybe is just, see, what is this? It's on location inset. We'll look at our current layer, which is a tool called Make Object Layer Current. We're there. And I would just draw a circle and maybe let's get this snaps off. Maybe make it a wee bit bigger like that. Give it a line weight, something heavier, maybe even than that. Let's try that. And oh, by the way, let's lock this viewport while we're at it. Oops. And let's see what else. Maybe while we're here, we'll freeze that little rectangle inside that viewport. And then inside this viewport, we'll freeze image aerial. But don't, don't freeze it globally because it'll turn it off for that. So now, all right, so that should be that. Now we could also do I don't know if they're gonna let me select it, probably not. So if I come back to here, you can decide, like right there is that full at full value, full brightness and such. You could, or I mean at excuse me, at standard brightness and contrast. If we made that like, that's way too much. Let's see if we think that makes it look darker. So let's see. Fading it all. What I want to do sort of. Think about this one. If I say yes. It may not, it's not set up to use that transparency. I'd have to edit it. So if we see, that's still making it appear to be darker. Let me look and see what that looks like over here. That might be. That gives you a light enough background. You could put, this, you can move this over. And I would probably, let's see, what is it? See, that's right now at 0.05. If we make it 0.125, that's 1/8 of an inch out here in the paper world. So I would make that big enough. And then I would just put some more text on here and label this road and maybe, this one or this one, something that gives them some kind of context. They can tell from this, but you don't want to go out so far that you get the town name, because then it's going to be ultra tiny.
Right.
Just enough to give it some context. And I think that should do you. And then of course I'd change this. Whoops. There you go. So
Okay, looks good. Thank you, sir.
that yeah, make sure when you give it a test plot and look at the PDF, make sure it's not too washed out. And if it is, go back over here, select that and play around with these numbers. The standard when they come in is 50 brightness, 50 contrast. And that could be, what you, how you want to do it. But I don't want to get into you having to switch to like, white text because this is so dark. But sometimes, that looks good. So just play around with that and that should do it.
Okay, I've got you here. You're going to show me how to bring that into my other drawing as an XREF.
Yeah, now let's take a look at something here too. I just noticed this. It's a one-line type.
Okay, well, that isn't the actual quiet.
Oh, okay.
That's just that's the location inset.
Oh, I see.
The actual quiet is over here.
Oh, all right.
And I've got to bring the
you need to transfer that over to here.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, one of the things too, while we're looking at that, and that might be okay, but you see that line type is repeated pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And has to do with that line type scaling. And you've got, several variables here, MSLT scale and PSLT scale should both be on, they are. But then your global LT scale, see right now it's set to 0.13. And that's due to when you change, now if I set it to 1, you see how it goes back out.
Mm-hmm.
So when you change that number, or when you change this, actually, when you go to settings and do your drawing setup, and if you change this, it's going to always change this. You have to keep your eye on that and just manually go into this one field right here and set that to 1. Because if I change that to say 50, see what it does, 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make sure that when you do that, you double check this and set it back to 1. That way your line types will set up to be the right scaling. Okay.
Okay.
Now, on to get this over into this. Now, where that came from, where this stuff came from here was that's in this same coordinate space. Is that correct?
Yes, the way you told me to do it was to do a save as the drawing save as a location inset, and then delete all of the points, not in the coordinate file, but on the screen.
Right, right. Yeah, so do we have any points here? You've got some in your file, but and that you've probably got that file open here. That's fine. So we'll leave those alone. But let's see how many points we have in the drawing. If we,
Why do we care how many points we have in the drawing?
I don't, because I don't want to get them copied over if we XREF the thing in and we get some, I don't want to accidentally get them into the other drawing if they're going to be in different locations. So I just, and
Well, they're in the same location. I mean, they're all in the same CRD file.
right, the CRD file will stay intact. I just want to make sure I'm going to thaw all my layers. That we don't really need. And this will keep just for reference sake. And that will keep. Now, if I've got everything thawed, do we have any points? And this is an interesting question. If I find points, number 10,000. It's actually reading from the coordinate file and then finding them on the screen. So that still doesn't help me. What do we have here? All right, I've got 1, 2. I've got how many objects? 8 objects. So I should have 8, 9, 10 objects if I select everything. And 33, what do I have? Got some text in there somewhere too. Let's see it now. Maybe it's over here. Oh, that could be. But really, all I want is this. So let me do it this way. If I select all this, I've got 9 things. There we go. So 9 polylines. That's it. And the image made 10. So let's turn this visibility back on. Or just a polyline. Image frame. Ah. We have another image. That's probably from the last one. Let me just topo that one. We don't need attach. But that one, you got this one. If we reload. Okay, I see. That's that one. So if we freeze those, it'll be all right. Now, I want to select that. So if I go back to the XMAP, select this. Reload it. I want to set its visibility. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. All right, that's just in a viewer, which is let's see, come here, so good to go. And now I've got to change this. I need to select it. Unless it's a regen issue, it's not. Why is it not? So it's just got that border. Select the image and I want to set the image visibility to true because I set it to false. Let's see if I can. I can't. Seem to be able to select it. Let's try this. If I select, maybe I can find it from image. There we go. Now set its visibility to yes. There we go. Boy, so don't do that again. Yeah, just sorry about that. All right, so now what we want to do is to bring this over into our other drawing now. All right, so there's that one. It's set. In fact, we don't even really need anything over here, do we? Or did you use this?
No,
Okay. So let's just get rid of all this extraneous stuff. And we're back to here, and this is all we've got in our drawing. Now, it also has that photograph still in it, but frozen.
yeah,
So you can, leave that or not. It's not hurting anything really. So we've got this one thing here that we could copy this and place it in your drawing, or we could XREF it and have it show up in this other drawing over here.
That's how I have been doing it.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you go ahead now and see about doing that. You know, in other words, I'm gonna show me what you've been doing, and that should be the.
Well, the problem is I don't remember what I've been doing. It's been a while since I've done it.
Oh, I see.
I'll
Okay.
give it a shot.
All right. Well, first go back to the other drawing and save it, because you won't be able to XREF it unless you save it. I mean, you can XREF it, but it'll XREF the old version. All right. So now you've got that saved. All right. So now in here, there you go. So now we want to XREF.
This is 1,000 feet, right?
Yeah. And you might as well select that red frame. Well, first of all, hit enter to finish your text editing. It's still looking for another piece of text. There you go. Now select your viewport. And go down to that custom scale down below and go ahead and set that to 0.001. Or if you have 1,000 already defined, you can pull down the standard scale list and choose.
Do I need to unlock it?
Yeah, yes. There you go. Okay. All right, so it's now go back and lock it again. That, yeah, we're not going to use any annotation out of the inset. We're just going to XREF that file. And so we can, yeah. Now, this is going to XREF into the paper space. Let's go ahead and give that a, I'm trying to think of the best way to have you do this. Because if we XREF it, well, it's in the right coordinate space. So let's go ahead, close this for a minute, and let's go to the model space. There we go. Now, if we XREF that drawing and XREF it into its proper coordinates, it's going to come into this space right here. So what I want to do is let's go back to the location inset drawing and let's get rid of those property lines. Yeah. Now go back to the model space. There you go. Yeah, just those are just polylines that you copied over. Just select the little window around all of that stuff and delete it. Okay. Now save that. And now let's go back to your real drawing or the plat. And now while you're here, go ahead and XREF that drawing and you're going to insert it at 0,0 and it's going to come right in where it's supposed to be. Now look at your prompts on the command line. It says insertion point. You're going to type 0,0 and then just hit enter for the rest of the defaults. And now close that. Okay, now you zoom out and just read. Yeah, see, that's going to be where you go. Now back to your survey plat layout tab. You're going to double click inside the big viewport that you've got. The big one there. There you go. Now go to your layer manager and find that layer, which is image, aerial, but it's on location. Yeah, you see all those things that say location inset?
Yeah,
Those are the layers. We should have purged that drawing before we brought it over. That doesn't, it won't matter. If you scroll down there and find, you want to look for the one that says location inset. It's got the bar, then it says image aerial. And they should be alphabetical. There it is, image aerial. Now over to the right where it says, the column says current, you're going to keep going over, all the way to the edge almost, right? One back, one right there. You're going to click that to freeze it while in that viewport. Now go ahead and close your layer manager. So now you're back. It doesn't show up there, but if you double click in the location map, it will be in the right place. Okay. So it's there, but now this location map window is not pointed to the right place. So, you know, it's looking at a different spot. So double click outside of it again and select the viewport and unlock it. Now double click inside it and do a zoom extents or somehow zoom around till you get the, there you go. You're about where you want to be. Do we?
My site disappeared.
Well, we'll bring that back. It's just a matter of layering. So now if we are here now, let's get it positioned and scale. Where is our little first of all, let's go ahead and send that back, and we've got the layer is called well, in any case, I want to get this sort of in the center here. I'm going to go back outside of it, select it, and let's now set this to 0.001. All right, so that now, so that gives you that road, these roads, we could, without letting it zoom.
It's showing a lot of stuff there that I don't want to show though.
Which do you not?
In all those lines in that box, I mean, it's showing something from my other drawing that I had deleted.
Oh, that's yeah, that's all right. We'll as long as it's not part of the image, then we'll take those on and off. But we want to get like, do you want this racetrack word to show up in the image of the racetrack? Maybe that would be helpful. Or do
Yeah,
you
that's fine, just like it is, it's fine.
Okay. So now once that's set, we'll go back outside of it, we'll select it and lock it, making sure that we're still at our 1000 scale. We are. We're now going to lock it. So now it's positioned correctly. Now, just like you did over here where you turned off the image layer, we're going to go inside of this, double click inside of there. Now you're going to freeze the things that you don't want to show up here in this viewport. And you can do that several ways. You could go up here to our toolbar window, which says freeze by pick. And you can just start picking these individual, things, just whatever you happen to do, you can do them that way. Or let me undo that. Another way to do it, as long as you're in here, now go and run your layer manager again. Okay. And now we want to look at only those that layer names that start with location inset. No, I'm sorry. I'm telling you wrong. We want to, let's first of all select all. you right click one of the layer names and choose select all. Okay, now go over to that rightmost column where that, or the next to the last one right there. Yeah, and just click any, no, not that one, the next one to it. Yeah, and just any one of those, just click that. So it's going to freeze every single layer in that viewport, except we want to turn on just a few of them. And so now, if you go and click and find the layer name that you want, like lots or lots plot or whatever lines you want to show up, just in that little, just something that defines the outline of the parcels would be all that you really need. All right, now go back over there and turn that on. There you go. And if you need anything else, you can add to it, or if that's all you want, just now close that off.
Yeah, so you still got some other stuff there that I don't want.
Okay, that could be, let's see, you were on, well, we're on setback limit. Let me see. What do we have here? We've got, oh, that's on boundary. Looks like all of this stuff is on layer boundary. Oh, okay. All right, so. All right,
Well, it's not showing up on the location instead, is it? Over here?
no, well, the location inset is, if you look at this, that image. See, it's underneath. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not on location inset map. But if you're here in your model space, see, the map is exactly in the right coordinates by itself, in and of itself. Okay, so if, all right, so I see what you did. I thought you'd only use those drawn lines over here.
No, what you told me to do was to do a save as, create a location inset from the, as another DWG.
Yep.
Then go in and erase all the points and delete all the lines that I didn't need, and I did that. And
Okay.
that was on the location inset. Well, it's not showing up now.
Right, yeah, we took those out of there, so let's undo till we get that stuff back. All right, so they're now back. Okay, now that's on a layer called boundary local, and then you've got some adjoiner. Okay, so that's now there. So if we,
What happened to the little circle that we created that said site?
well, that was on that paper space side of things. Whereas if we, see, that would be up in here, so we would, and you had some words in there. I saw you selected them and just deleted them.
Yeah, but it's gone. I mean, we created a circle there and we put the site.
Well,
What
we did it here on in this map.
Yeah, so what happened to it?
Well, remember, we got rid of that entire layout tab.
Okay,
So, so you can add those, and actually what you should do would just put them back in here.
so this is a completely different way than you showed me how to do it the other day.
Well, if you were doing it as an XREF, you still wouldn't see those when you XREF'd it in over here, because when you XREF this location inset into this other drawing, it doesn't bring across any of that layout, any of the paper space stuff that you had in that drawing. Okay, we could probably, and I'm guessing that maybe if we did that, we maybe just copied it and pasted it once we were there. So if we do, let me go back to, yeah, keep going here. So I'm gonna come back to there till we get Get those back. All right, so there. So we could do that like this. We could simply take those things there and right click, clipboard, copy with base point, and let's just say point to that corner up there. Then we go back to this file and we right click, clipboard, paste, and we point to that corner up there. And so that now it's going to be there. Now, back over here, and we'll leave that in there. It's not going to hurt anything. But let's save this again. So when we reload it, it's going to have these lines on the XREF named layer. See, what I thought when you had this done over here, I thought that was all that you were going to have showing in your plat anyway, but you just brought in a few that you were wanted to show. That's fine. And that's the proper way of doing that. So now when we come back to this drawing, we're going to double click in here and we're going to freeze that boundary layer. So we will,
Yeah, but what I want to show is on that boundary layer too.
well, it's going to be on the, now while we're here, and this is what I was going to show you, because it is an XREF. It's going to be on this location inset boundary. And you had a boundary local and you had an adjoiners. So you had these two. And so now, if we, oh, we need to reload, sorry. And making sure that their external reference, make sure that is, oh, that is on a layer called setback limit. That's why we're not seeing it there. So let's put this on, if you have a layer called XREFs, there we go, we're gonna put it on XREFs. And so now over here, within here, because remember when we ran this command and I had you right click, select all, and you turn those off, except now we're going to turn on the things that we do want to see. So now within that viewport, we've enabled the location inset boundary local, location inset adjoiners, and now we also need to come down here and find XREF and do the same thing for that. And now it needs to regenerate. Why won't it? On XREFs. Okay. Save. Oh, sorry, we got one more we got to turn on. It was the location inset image aerial. There we go. Now we got it. Just saved it. Yeah, sorry. Zoom plays around with the video because it's trying to compress it to keep the transmission lower. Now we need to what were those other layers on? We had,
Well, some of those lines I need to get rid of, like that one, for example. I don't want that in the location inset.
all right, so we'll just take that off. Now this one,
Yeah,
oh,
that,
it's
those
boundary.
are the two lots.
Then there's boundary. There was boundary, not boundary local. I wonder why I called it boundary local. All right. So from there back to this location inset, because it's the layer that's within location inset, and we had boundary local, which we turned on, which is okay. I would just leave it. I didn't notice anything being there necessarily. And now boundary is now on. And so there is that. And also within this frame, we want to go to that boundary, location inset boundary. And let's make it, instead of, come over here to the right, and we'll make it we'll give it a smaller line weight, just a little bit. We'll give it just a continuous line, so we're not trying to scale that pattern. And now don't change it here, because that changes that layer in the global sense, but over here is just within that viewport. So I think that's okay. It's red. And what is red set to plot as? If I look at my mono grayscale, I've got red set, oh, sorry, here is set to black. On the screen, it's okay. And now let's go back to reload after we save, sorry. Here we'll save. We have the same. Yeah, it's there. I don't know why it is. Layer called boundary. It's a joiner. The boundary is red. Red should plot as black. Right, layer. What do we have? We have 7 polylines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one is all on a joiner. And that's on boundary. That's on boundary. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 2 more somewhere.
Or in front, there's an adjoiner line here.
Oh, I
There's
see.
an adjoiner line below.
That's it. Okay. Okay. All right. So those are good to go there. We'll save that. We'll come back over to here and reload. Yeah. Region, I still. am not. Why is that gray? It's gray because of the color we assigned it while in here.
Okay, well, it's just the location instead. It really doesn't matter, does it?
Okay, so look. So in that, let's take location and set boundary. Let's see, they're all set to red, so I don't know. Yeah, it ought to plot black. I don't understand why it's not, but it might be a Zoom thing with the video, but possibly, I don't know. All right,
Okay,
that it or anything else you need?
yeah, no, I think we're good to go.
All right, well,
And label the roads there.
yeah, and then, and don't forget, if you seemingly lose that stuff, just regen it and it'll come back.
Okay,
And, okay,
good. Okay, thank you, sir. Have a good evening.
you are most welcome. You take care and enjoy your holiday.
Okay, don't forget to send me the recording.
Will do. Yes, thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Good night.